It's been a little over a year since we started renovating Great Grandma's house again, so let's recap all the projects that we've done so far. We started in the first bedroom by removing all the flooring that we put in around 10 years ago, and I don't know if it's the color or the brand of LVP, but these floors were impossible to keep looking clean, so I'm glad to get rid of them. We also removed the sticky tiles that my grandma laid down when I was a child. After the floors were put in, we customized the closet using a bookshelf from Target, and everything is getting a fresh coat of paint. We're using Dainty Lace by Behr on the trim and Scroll by Behr on the walls and ceiling. This room took us about 3 days to complete, and after that, we moved on to bedroom number 2, which we turned into the playroom. After removing all the old LVP, my husband laid down the new floors and also built this custom storage cabinet for their toys. When he was done with that, it was my turn to come in with paint, and we created a rainbow explosion in this room. Instead of using wallpaper, I hand painted this scallop trim around the room, and we made sure to use every single color of the rainbow. By this time, everybody was over winter and ready to be outside, so we started working on the backyard, specifically on the corner that's furthest away from the house because nobody goes over here and it was completely overgrown and neglected. We cut down the bushes and removed the growth that was covering the fence, and this was the area that we were left with, so we decided to make this area the garden. When I was a kid, my grandma had an above ground pond over here, so we decided to add an in-ground pond this time. It started out as a little 3x3 space, but quickly turned into a 26-foot long pond when we realized we had a flooding problem from our neighbors. So while we figured out a plan for that and some other problems that were being caused, we built our garden boxes and started working in the front yard a little bit. My husband used the dirt that he was taking out of the pond to fill our garden boxes, and he sifted it to collect the rocks to go back into the bottom of the pond. After my husband did a rough dig of where he wanted the pond to go, we laid down this blue tarp to test the water flow and make sure everything was going good, and I thought we were in the clear. We were gonna put the liner in soon. But more neighbor problems, so we had to take a break from the pond again, and we decided to start working on the rest of the yard. We mulched our front garden beds and also tore down this shed that was in the middle of the backyard. Grass has never really grown well back here, and most of the time it's just covered in weeds, and by June all those weeds die and they're pokey and hard, so we needed to fix this problem. And the only way to do that was to amend all of the soil in the backyard, so we started tilling. The ground was so hard and compacted that this took us a couple of weeks, but basically the process was till down 4 inches, cover everything in horse manure, till it again, and then lay grass seed. For the first round, we used this contractor's mix, and I highly do not recommend. It grew so many weeds. But we did end up spreading a pure seed from our local farm store before the winter, and that has popped up a lot better this spring. My husband also fixed the sprinkler system, and then we were ready to get the grass watered and back to the garden area, which was covered in the dirt from the pond, and it was starting to be taken over by weeds again. And we had a very rainy season, so even though the pond was completely dug out, it kept filling with water, which made it impossible to lay down the liner because the clay just held onto the water. When we did finally get all the water pumped out and the liner laid down, we put in our rocks, but didn't rinse them, so we also dumped in a bunch of mud. So while my husband worked on rinsing all the rocks and getting the mud out, I decided to add more color to the playroom. The completely white shelf was really throwing everything off, so I painted the inside all different colors. We also had to spread all the leftover dirt from the pond build before we could build our third garden box, and by this time, our grass was ready to be cut for the first time. The neighbor's flooding problem goes across the entire back fence and comes about 6 to 7 feet into our yard, so we are taking advantage and using this entire area as a planting space. So we cut a border in the